Jacques de Lange, welcome. Nice, very nice to have you here. You are one of 4 candidates for the new presidency of the International Handball Federation. You have a lot of experience, 14 years already in handball, international handball. It starts for you here at Papendal, Arnhem, in the Dutch Handball Federation. It must feel like home.
Yeah, Richard, thanks for having me here. And indeed, it feels like home. Yeah, it's the heart of handball in the Netherlands. For the people who have been here know that Papendal is the sports center of the Netherlands, and we have our handball academy here. So next to the office, it's also the place where our young, talented players are constantly walking around and trying their best to make a future in handball. So then it's also, I think, very good for me to elaborate about my future in handball as well. In 2011, I became the president of the Dutch Handball Federation. In 2020, my term ended, and I gave up the presidency to Roel Goffin, who's doing an excellent job, by the way. And I became the chair of the Handball Forum of Europe. And the Dutch Handball Federation asked me to chair over the Super Handball League, which is a competition which we have together with the Belgium. So it's a combined league which we do in order to improve the men's handball. We concluded that the Dutch handball is actually a little too small to really allow a very good league on the men's side. The Belgium had exactly the same. So the top 7 clubs of the Belgium league and the top 7 clubs of the Dutch league form an own league, which is the Super Handball League.
What drives you to take on so many executive functions?
Well, I did a lot of things outside handball as well. I created my own company in 1997, which I led until 2024. Last year I gave up the leadership. But besides that, I always have done governance. So I've been in many different types of organizations, in supervisory board, in governance board, and always with a lot of pleasure and a lot of curiosity.
In all those years, 14 experienced years in handball, you have done a lot for this sport. It's a fantastic sport. You like it, I like it. It's dynamic,
very much.
It's very fast, it's
very
fair,
so.
Competitive. What's your fascination with this sport, with handball?
Well, I started to play it as a little boy. What was for me always very nice about handball is no matter what size you are, no matter what posture you are, there is always a way to excel within handball. For example, when I was young, I was always one of the smallest. I started to grow very late, so I was one of the smallest, and still I was able to make my goals and to be opportunistic, try to be fast.
What position do you play?
I'm left-handed, but when I was young, I played even at the left wing and tried to score there.
You needed to be fast, a fast
I needed
player.
to be fast, and I loved the breakout. That's what I loved.
You see a lot of games all over the world. You know a lot of people, you know the players, of course, from the Dutch team, but also from international teams. We see you everywhere. Can you share some highlights personally?
Obviously, as being president of the Dutch Handball Federation in 2019, when the Dutch women became world champion in Japan, obviously the penalty of Lois Abbing, already when the game was over officially, time was over officially, is imprinted in my head. You know, it was fantastic, obviously, to see this penalty and to realize that a Dutch team the Dutch women's team became world champion. And I remember the old president of the IHF at that time, Jean Briot, saying to me, Jacques, now you really should enjoy it, because it's not given to many presidents that you become world champion during your tenure as president. And I think he was fully right with that. So I really tried to enjoy it as much as possible. And we have to realize, we came from an extreme difficult period. In 2011, I had to give back a tournament which we were supposed to organize, the European Championship Women 2012.
The risks were too high at that moment.
And at that time, the risk for the Dutch Handball Federation was in such a bad condition that, and the financial position was so fragile that we were not able to organize that tournament. And at that time, I knew exactly that the ones we were letting down the most were the women who were supposed to play this championship. And it was extremely difficult to accept that and to go through that. And that is what a presidency is also. It's not only nice decisions on nice moments, it's sometimes also very difficult decisions for the future and to preserve the future. And that's what we had to do at that time. I can only pay so much respect to these women coming from that difficult time where they had to qualify all the way through again. Because if you don't play, you have to re-qualify. And then becoming world champion. So much respect.
When you were the president of the National Association, you always stood up for the clubs, the members. Why was it important for you to be present and personally involved across all levels?
Well, first of all, I like it. But second of all, I think it's very important in a member federation. You're not there for yourself. You're there for the members. You represent the members.
Is that essential in your opinion?
Yeah, for me that is totally...
To do it together, not for yourself, but for the handball?
I think you can only reach it together. You can never reach something alone. Together you're strong, alone you're nowhere. And you see it, the game is the best example of it. You can have one or two extremely good players, but if the team is not a team, you will never become world champion.
So you would like to build teams also in the federation, in the international?
I think it's exactly the same as in the game. You need to build a team and you need to have all the characters which are needed for a successful team together. I think the biggest mistake leaders of any organization can make is to think that everything has to change. The core essence is to acknowledge what goes right and to acknowledge what goes less or where the attention is less on and to improve that part. The IHF has an extreme good a team of professionals who is doing a lot of things extremely good. And I think it's extremely important to acknowledge that and to make sure that what goes right continues to exist and where the attention is less on starts to grow. And obviously you don't do that alone. We all know that together with Anna, Philippe, Paco, Narcissa, we have an extreme good team of very experienced leaders. And I'm absolutely sure that you have to do it together. And the fact is, from every decision you take, a group of people have to execute it. And it can only work if everybody feels we have to go that way. Then it's carried forward.
There are 4 candidates, and one of them is the current president from Egypt, Hassan Mustafa. He leads the organization since 2000. Why do you want this position, Jacques?
I think that any organization which has been under one leadership for an extremely long period is up to a refreshment. And that's not because of the fact that somebody did something wrong, but that's due to the fact that the world is changing, priorities are changing, the atmosphere is changing, and you have to adapt to it as a leader. And that's why it's, I think, very healthy for any organization to change leadership regularly.
What message would you like to give to everyone who cares about the future of handball?
Well, I hope that everybody sees that we don't have unlimited time, because our competitive field is not handball. Our competitive field is the international sport world and what is happening in the international sport world. Take, for example, 3x3 basketball, which was unthinkable 8 years ago, and last
now it's very popular.
Last Olympics in Paris, it was spectacular, and it is a spectacular sport. The competition internationally lies not within the handball, and I'm sometimes worried that within handball we're too concentrated on ourselves and too less outward looking and too less realize that our competition is with other sports and with other spectacular sports.
Finally, and I know it's not easy, but can you try into the camera, say something, a few words. Why should you become the new president of the International Handball Federation?
Yeah, I'm not so fond of speaking myself and of speaking about myself and about my abilities. I can only say to everybody of you that I will be thrilled to do it, and that I will give my utmost to make the IHF and to make the handball sport bigger in the world. That's my objective. And if you allow me to do that, I will give my utmost to it. And with a lot of pleasure, and I hope we can do it all with a lot of humor, because let's not forget, we're in the entertainment business. We entertain people. That's what we do. And I'm very much looking forward to that World Championship, obviously, because I'm always looking forward to anything which has to do with handball. I would love to do it for you all. And if you allow me to do it, I'm ready for it.
Tjark, thank you for being here, and good luck with the elections in December.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.